Hi there. Once again, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, and we'll find out together. I try to be as real as possible for you, and sometimes that's kind of hard, but I really do make every effort. It's really important to me not to be looked up to, but to be reflecting you back to you, so that the same God I find inside, you find inside too. And we've been lied to so much. We were led to believe so many things, such as awakening would equal a state of constant bliss. It does not. Such as if you had, for instance, there are many masters, or not many, there are a number of masters who late in their life have, the body has died due to cancer, and people have used that to disbelieve them and their teaching, considering that they should have been able to heal themselves. They supposedly healed so many other people. There's all kinds of craziness that has been woven into, through, and around the concepts that we have around what waking up is all about. And the one thing that I've found to be true and consistent is that people who wake up don't suddenly stop being people. They have regular lives. They feel things. They don't quit feeling. They lose their temper sometimes, and they're just people. They're just real. There's not some what do I want to say? Some plastic perfection that suddenly descends upon them, and they're just perfect, and all that kind of garbage. We were taught to look outside of ourselves for perfection and for the divine. I don't think any of us were truly taught from birth and youth that we truly are divine, and given any kind of a sense of what that means, how that could or would play out. And so, we're all discovering it on our own. But okay, here's what I'm going to do. I did write a journal, or a journal came through this morning, and it turned out to be, well, I'll just share it with you, and then you can see for yourself, and of course be in heart. So this is from 3/14, Thursday, and it's the first journal of the day, and it starts out to the 12Ds. So I said, beloved 12D friends, you who are so ever present with or within me, you who are so close, why is it pleased that I have not had direct converse like this with you for so long, since Ken came with your message of how imperative it is that we work together? Please help me see inside self, and if there are any blocks or energy issues to address. And they say, hello, Teresa Ann. Yes, we are always happy to assist in any way that we can. We too have been watching you during this time. We have quietly conversed on this or that, as you know, but nothing formal, as you say. Why do you think that would be? Gosh, I don't know. I haven't felt called or pulled into the journal for some time. Now, I watch for that, so I don't feel that I've missed a call to journal. I do know I have, for the first time, something awkward with one of the 12D journals. Something I've let keep me from posting it. Something concerning someone else who does not want the parts that they feel are personal to be shared. So I don't know what to do about that. Fair enough. Yes, this issue of what is personal, what is a person, and is there or is there not separation existing at all? These are key and are addressed by each one individually. We will not tell you how to sort this one out. That would not be right or best. You don't take your orders from us or anyone else but your own beautiful self. As concerns why you have not spoken with us, go within, dear one, go deeper. What do you see? Oh my gosh, how funny. I see fear. Fear as remnants of old programming to be small, to withdraw, to hide, and to not count. At least in this way, as we were taught, we would not bring down the wrath of others on our head. I see mind, perhaps, taking something like a last stand, trying to keep itself safe from what it just does not understand. Now, what is strange is that I let this go on for this time, all for the lack of sitting down and directly addressing it. My gosh, when I consider how whole lifetimes can go off track this way, I'm amazed. Poor dear mind, only doing the best that it can, from its own perspective, of course. Yet, we must take charge of it much like a child, for it is no more in charge of our life. Once we step out enough to distinguish self from mind, we begin to take our power back, to run our own life, and from a far deeper place, one that feels so very good. So I feel mind quivering fearfully within. Yet it must be so. We will not be held back by such things. Just like the powers that were, mind's time of prominence and power is over. It takes each one laying down the internal law, so to speak, kindly, not with harshness or cruelty. Yet this is how we find the self, each one of us, under the control of the mind. It stops when we determine it will. This I know. We can go endless ages, lifetimes galore, avoiding this issue if we like. It's just a matter of how much is enough. And it's up to each one to determine for the self. No outside hand is involved, else we disempower yet again, just in another way. chocolate instead of vanilla, perhaps? And they replied, we like what we see here. This is good. Yes, a strength of determination is required. One doesn't fully awaken absent that, for there are many twists and turns where one can go off course, step out of true integrity, of truly following heart that appear. There is a certain steady pressure that is provided by this that we call determination, but there are other words. Some call it sincerity. Srinivasargadatta called it earnestness. It is a quality of heart being in control. It is the most beautiful dance that takes place, not a masculine thrust pushing its way through remnant of the old ways of these last thousands of years. That thrust is also generally a product of mind, thinking it knows best which way and how to go. Those are the old ways you are now discarding, you awakening ones. There is a depth of being within you, each one, that will dazzle and startle at times, but mostly will just flow quietly in the presence of heart, of the determination or earnestness we mentioned. The more you can each pull yourselves into the now, into the centered state, the more you will empower this deeper being that is there for you all to emerge, to lead the way into the dance. Typo. You must be an attentive dancer to perform any dance well. It is most basic, and you all recognize it on the physical level. By this, we don't mean the recent style of dancing, but refer to a more competitive, refer more to competitive ballroom dancing. Performances with required scripted moves and steps. Absent attention, such performance is not worth watching. Only embarrassment ensues. This is presence. This is being in now that we speak of. This is how that looks. Being attentive is the very first step. Attentive to what? Attentive to heart, centered within. This is not something that requires endless hours of meditation practice. No such thing. This attentiveness is just as possible, just as present when doing the dishes or walking the dog as it is in Zazen. Everyone, let go of the idea that you are not perfect, that you are not as well equipped for this, for awakening, as anyone else. You are, overall, not yet aware of the power wielded by such mostly subconscious beliefs. They trip you up, yet you think it was something else. All beliefs are self-fulfilling. Let this one go. Yes, Teresa Ann, we see your surprise to have us suddenly address everyone that way. Dear one, just keep observing. You're doing fine. Yes, you see that this is more of a cross between the old journals and the 12D conversations, as you were wont to call them. We agree. A deeper stage of merging has been reached. This is but the outer evidence of the inner work. So yes, you see where and how the break you took from journaling did its perfect work. It was a necessary step, a pas de deux in the dance. To know when to lead and when to follow is ideal, is a worthy goal if one would have goals. In the divine dance of heart, the lead passes back and forth, but in a delicate way. Sometimes it's quite clear, but more often it is not. And so I said, wow, my friends, what an interesting way you chose to illustrate the answer to my question about this long pause. Well, long to me. Being without the journals is a strange experience. They form such an integral feature of my life, and now more so than ever, based on your word, imperative. Much food to ponder in heart here. Now, I'd like to just let you speak as you will. Please, I cede the lead. It is in your hands. Very well, we accept. So, sit back and relax while we entertain your fingers on the keyboard for a time. We are an ancient race. There are many of us here, actually. A bit surprising in itself, for many of us gave off 3D incarnating ever so long ago. Yet now is such a special time here on this earth, so we and many others are involved. Many are curious about ET races, about which ones are participating here and what is their intent. We can tell you that overall the participation is on a much deeper level than most have thought or perceived. With many of these races, what you have is those who may appear in the skies, yes, but they are most often interacting with their own kind who took embodiment here, living physical lifetimes. Let that soak in, please. Sit with it for a moment. If you will view it from a heart perspective, it will reveal more of itself to you. Let us all be making the head-to-heart shift, entering more deeply into the dance of the divine. Yes, what we are saying is that of the various races so far observed and categorized by mankind, there are as many in embodiment, more or less, as there are in the skies. Now, this balance is shifting a good bit, for what is going on here is drawing notice from far and wide. Word has gone out well beyond your universe about what is taking place here now. So, there are many races who have been working with the mankind of Earth for various eons. Among these, most have actually incarnated among you at one time or another, some continually maintaining a presence both below and above. It was only a fairly recent occurrence that greatly increased or intensified the sense of separation among us. Yes, that was the victory won by the powers that be, as they were at that time, over the light beings running things here on the earth. At that time, some millennia ago, a dark grid was installed around the planet that cut you off from the rest of us. As we have said, many hearts mourn this. It was so unlike the joyful freedom it replaced. The light beings could simply not imagine the dark plans and actions of the dark force, the powers that be. Now, come back in time. Rejoin us here while still maintaining a presence or focus within. From heart center, you can recognize how linear time does not truly exist. Mind is unable to do this, so if you're finding it hard, that's likely the cause, being in mind. Your job now, if you choose it, is to keep letting go. Let go of the mind perspectives you've grown up on and to which you've been attached. They will not carry you where you desire to go, from where each heart is calling each one. The next moves in the dance occur to new music, a new beat, a new rhythm, a new soul of the dance. Go within. Now stop. Stay there. Each one will find a way that works to lay aside the old head focus in favor of presence in heart. A portion of your focus or attention can be placed and remain in the center of the chest. That's all it takes. This is very doable for each one. Your ways into this result will differ, but that is very much a part of the huge beauty of Mother Earth and the light beings incarnate here. You are all powerful beyond your wildest belief or imagination. All of this has been long hidden from you, but please realize it cannot be taken away. That is not possible. It can only be disguised. Meanwhile, sleight of hand and various manipulative processes were put in place to keep you both distracted from your center or heart and to keep you firmly occupied in left brain pursuits. It has worked. It worked quite well, but only for a time. Since it is not real, since there is no truth in it, there is no way it can be sustained forever. Its failure was quite built in from the start. This we all knew even at the time of the takeover. For those of you who have not incarnated there, no. For those of us who have not incarnated there, we have retained this knowing. For those of you who did, it's been a challenge to retain this awareness. Let us assure you, though, each of you, that this is something you have always known. You may have been distracted away from center for quite some time, yet your true light being state is not something that can be taken away from you. It can only be replaced in your awareness with something else, something other. It can only be hidden, never removed. So yes, that means that deep in the center of each of you, in the central space that Teresa Ann calls capital H, heart, that knowing remains safe, and sound. It is accessible by you, yes, but we will address the many minds in whom we perceive an eagerness to take hold of and bring forward this experience out into the conscious awareness. We will say, that is not the way. The letting go must come first. On some of you, mind has a very strong hold. Your identity is still enmeshed with that of the 3D mind. Until that hold is released, something only you, the true or light being, can do, you will not succeed at this task. This deep inner knowing is a realm not accessible to the mind. Now, who will listen to this? Who will have ears to hear, as they say? Who among you is ready to let go, to enter the abyss, the void of the no mind? You are sorcerers all, not in the negative way, but rather in the way of the ancient shaman, largely retained today only by the native peoples of Earth. They have held and set the example for you down through the ages of persecution and destruction. Though most are not aware of it, all owe them a debt of great gratitude for the steadfastness of their loyal hearts, loyal to truth above all. Yet, my dear friends, do consider this. How many lifetimes do you have within among the native peoples of Earth? Enter within. Go deep. Look for yourself and come to it through the inside, not the outside or mind side as you have been used to doing. At some point, you will awaken to the reality that your mind simply cannot take you where you desire to go. You are living all of those lifetimes right now. Right now, we say, hear us. Don't be in a rush. Let these things seep and sink deep within. Find yourself there. Do you not see how, if they are all just as now as this now is to you, that you would have access to them? It's just more of a shamanic sort of access that you have, nothing mental at all. That means the conscious mind cannot pry these secrets out for you. It is time for new ways of doing, of being, to take precedence over the old. Whole new ways of coming to know something will be experienced. It won't be as mind imagines, so do let go of the old ways. Learn to do the divine dance, to know when to lead, when to follow. Let intuition be your guide, the heart's sensing instead of the mind and its ways. Set those aside. Of course, this is all completely open to your free will, to the choices you will make. just as no one can possibly take this from you, so no one can give it to you either. For this you must first find your way within, a space that has a strange feel to most of you still. Yet that is just fine. Realize all the way through that you cannot make a mistake. Friends, you are divine. Nothing less. It is not mind that can hear and interpret this, period. Unless that thought and that way of thought is surrendered, you will not be joining us here. We hold space for you, each one. We are not alone in this either. Every soul family holds the space for the incarnate ones. We hold strong awareness of your true presence here with us, even when it seems so far away to you, to your mind. You are divine. You are Source, walking this earth, shining bright. You are that, but not via the mind. Once you make your way into heart, it will be relatively easy for you to distinguish the enlightened egos from the true awakened ones in your midst. This is child's play to heart, a near impossibility to mind. Let us not waste time discussing why things are as they are. At this point, we trust you can at least begin to see how that would be the occupation of mind. Do you see? If you do, then perhaps you will begin to recognize when so many of your questions that come up are arising from mind. Place your attention on your central chest. Now, consider whatever question that is arising for you. Look at it closely, but only from heart. Do not think about it. Just look at it from within. Discernment abides there, my friends. Kin to intuition it is. It requires that you just be. Just be. Now, this beingness is already going on within you. It is not something you must learn to do. The whole concept of learning to do something is strictly of mind and of time. Do you see? Trust that you already know. See such things as being uncovered, in no way external to you. Nothing needs to be learned by the real you, just recalled, uncovered, remembered. So, get the feel with us of being in heart. It is truly a different way of being than any of you have been taught thus far on your planet. Yet it is something very well known by you. Not known, yet well known. This is heart talk. Only mind will call it nonsense, so be alert for that. The biggest thing many of you can do right now is wake up to this distinction between what it feels like to be in mind versus heart. This is a most valuable skill to adopt. And remember, it is not something to learn. All learning is over, if you will it so. Take up the new way that is also very much the old way, the way of sensing your knowledge instead of thinking your way into it. When combined with a steady self-observation, this ability to discern head from heart will pay tremendous dividends. New levels of clarity will open. Now at first, they will seem quite fuzzy and unclear, but this is fine. Respect the transition you are in. Know that your brethren are in it with you, and that making this transition, even just this, is and will be a great boon to the earth, to the rest of you there. Every step you take into clarity, whether hard won or with ease, further strengthens and ignites the heart fires in your brethren, making it that much easier for each of them to see what you now see with increased heart clarity. For a time, don't be surprised to observe mind flipping out, getting upset rather often, even pouting or mourning. Love your mind. Trust and know that it does its very best for you. Recognize where you went off track, so to speak, by letting mind take over the running of your life. Have mercy on the self as well, for, after all, as a small child, what else could you do? It happened to one and all. Keep finding your way back in to heart, to that strangely quiet space within. Recognize how it is possible from there to witness mind's gyrations, its distress, but without participating in that. Just as it is possible to let the clouds drift by without paying them any attention, or to see a dozen links on an internet page without even the remote desire to click any of them, so it is possible to watch your own mind at work. Let go. Let go. Let go. Mind is not who you are. Thought is not who you are. It is what you may choose to participate in or not, or choose not to pay the least attention to. You have the ability to just look away. Look to source. Look to heart. Look to the void, if you will. Just look away. At a certain point, the light will dawn. You you see, just see for yourself how this is very much a taking back of the power you long ago gave away. It will be very easy to forgive the self for having done this, for having gone the mind route. It will be clear and apparent that there was hardly another choice you could have made. No harm, no foul, not to the Divine One you are. This is enough for now, friends. There is a great lesson in this that will be quickly perceived, yet which will require repeated going back over what is here. Layers and levels will quickly, some more slowly, peel away from the way you have been, the way you thought was so very real and present and obvious and all of that. You will know you have gained an important part of what is here for you when you catch yourself in a much different relationship to mind. Remember, it is a divine dance, and so there are no harsh moves needed. The steps are more delicate than that. It is the Holy of Holies you enter deep within heart. This is your rightful space, yet you have not truly known who you are. That will be seen. The great extent to which you've been stuffed with thoughts, beliefs, and ideas about who you are and what is real will be seen. You will be much as a snake shedding its skin, letting the old, no longer needed aspects of self just fall away. Clearly, at times, and maybe often, you will feel a bit lost. Allow this to be. Welcome this feeling if and as you can. Don't rush away from it or from anything. Face everything you discover or uncover within, straight on. Excuse me, let me do that again. Face everything you discover or uncover within, straight on. Knowing you are divine will provide much needed support in this. If it's falling away, chances are excellent that you don't need it, whatever it is. Learn to just let it go. If it's real, it will come back to you, most likely morphed in a most delightful way. Know that it doesn't matter. Trust the true self, who is very much in charge of the dance. Teresa Ann has chosen to greet whatever comes with openness, with love and warm welcome, regardless of what it is. Well, this way works for her, though it may not be your chosen way. You are the most important being in your world. Yet, most of you are overall clueless about what you really are, much less who. It is a source of almost endless amazement to many of the observing ET races. We know You will forgive us our frequent laughter and amusement to see the gods that you are going about really believing in your humanness. It is a stunning contrast, dear friends, and we are most happy to be privileged to take our turns in the divine dance, helping to shine the light on what is truly real in our interactions with each and all of you. We see that our soul sister, Teresa Ann, grows somewhat weary at the keyboard, taking down our words. We will close then, giving each of you a divine embrace, a heart hug. Be within, dear one, so that you will the better perceive this. Stay ever within, with at least some of your attention, your focus, as you go through your life there. Right now, even now, you are walkers between the worlds. Open your inner eyes that you may the more truly see. Heart vision sees with a clarity unknown to the mind. Mind is one of the greatest tools ever invented. But just as when something is so grand, it has just as powerful a negative potential. This you are all living with, living in the midst of right now, though not for long. Remember, choice and free will. These remain most powerful tools in this age-ending, age-beginning time. Choice and free will. We would say, let heart guide and not head so much of the time. Go within and find your divinity in full bloom. Not tomorrow, but now and here. Namaste. And I said, many and deep thanks, dear soul family friends. Though the body is weary, yet do I perceive the great blessings hid within what you have shared. I am excited too, and will just mention the clear morphing here between the journals and the 12D conversations. This is a hybrid, or seems to be. I like it. It feels really good. Namaste. We are always happy to assist in any way that we can. We too have been watching you during this time. We have quietly conversed on this or that, as you know, but nothing formal, as you say. Why do you think that would be? Gosh, I don't know. I haven't felt called or pulled into the journal for some time. Now, I watch for that, so I don't feel that I've missed a call to journal. I do know I have, for the first time, something awkward with one of the 12D journals. Something I've let keep me from posting it. Something concerning someone else who does not want the parts that they feel are personal to be shared. So I don't know what to do about that. Hi there. Once again, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. And we'll find out together. I try to be as real as possible for you. And sometimes that's kind of hard. But I really do make every effort. It's really important to me not to be looked up to, but to be reflecting you back to you, so that the same God I find inside, you find inside too. And we've been lied to so much. They lose their temper sometimes, and they're just people. They're just real. There's not some, what do I want to say, some plastic perfection that suddenly descends upon them, and they're just perfect, and all that kind of garbage. We were taught to look outside of ourselves for perfection and for the divine. I don't think any of us were truly taught from birth and youth that we truly are divine, and given any kind of a sense of what that means, how that could or would play out. And so, we're all discovering it on our own. But okay, here's what I'm going to do. I did write a journal, or a journal came through this morning, and it turned out to be, well, I'll just share it with you, and then you can see for yourself, and of course be in heart. So this is from 3/14, Thursday, and it's the first journal of the day, and it starts out to the 12Ds. So I said, beloved 12D friends, you who are so ever present with or within me, you who are so close, why is it pleased that I have not had direct converse like this with you for so long? Since Ken came with your message of how imperative it is that we work together. Please help me see inside self, and if there are any blocks or energy issues to address. And they say, hello, Teresa Ann. Yes, we were led to believe so many things, such as awakening would equal a state of constant bliss. It does not. Such as if you had, for instance, there are many masters, or not many, there are a number of masters who late in their life have, the body has died due to cancer, and people have used that to disbelieve them and their teaching, considering that they should have been able to heal themselves. They supposedly healed so many other people. There's all kinds of craziness that has been woven into, through, and around the concepts that we have around what waking up is all about. And the one thing that I've found to be true and consistent is that people who wake up don't suddenly stop being people. They have regular lives. They feel things. They don't quit feeling.